Do you have a good story to tell? Some reps are really, really good at questions, and they've been taught through many courses to ask questions. And some reps are really good at telling effective stories that help the customer to see something from a different perspective. Not all reps are good at both. Today I want to just talk a little bit about the importance of having a good story to tell. So in an organization, we all have stories that go around about things that went right, things that didn't go well. But what are the stories we really want to collect? We want to collect and codify stories that share how we solved problems for our customers or leverage an opportunity for them. So the stories we really want to have at our beck and call at any point in time are those stories that really showcase, if you will, how we created value for our customer. So let me give you a little bit of an example about why this is so important and how you can benefit by having these stories in your toolbox as a sales rep. So the first important thing about a story is really a critical aspect when you're selling because it creates a word picture for the customer. It gets them to envision something that they hope to gain or they want to avoid. So when you're telling a story about some situation a customer had, what some of the challenges were that they were facing, and how you were able to work with them to resolve it, and the outcome of that resolution, you're helping that customer to put themselves in that other person's shoes and envision that customer situation and relate some of the challenges that customer had with themselves. So obviously it's important that the stories are relevant to the prospect or the customer that you're talking to. But the value of that story is that it gets us back into that limbic, that part of the brain that only sees in word pictures. So now the customer is envisioning something when you're talking, they're seeing it. And from there, it provides you the opportunity to get into the decision part of the brain, the reptilian brain, that's going to make that binary decision, yes or no. Is this for me or not for me? What's in it for me? So stories are an opportunity to educate our customers. They're an opportunity to create a new context for somebody, new thinking. If you're selling something that somebody doesn't have a context for, it's a new disruptive technology. A story is really critical to help to create that word picture about how this disruptive technology will create value for them, will solve the problem or the opportunity for them. So let's just take a little quick second to talk about the structure of the story and what you really want your rep or yourself to be able to identify for every one of the stories. So first of all, identify what the situation is. What was the situation the customer was facing? What was the opportunity or the problem that they were facing? Then once you've identified what the situation was, and think about when you're writing it, it should be written in a way in which you would communicate it to the customer. And you could start with just bullet points. What's the situation? Then move from the situation to what are the things that complicated it? What were some of the challenges the customer was facing? What were some of the costs they were bumping into? What were some of the headaches or hurdles? What were the challenges that the customer was facing? Whether it was that they weren't being able to be as competitive as they needed to be in the market, they were losing market share, or it was taking much more energy and cost for them to do whatever it was that they were doing, whatever it is. But get several different things that complicated it. This is really important. In a movie, if you're watching an action movie, there's never one problem, and they never solve a problem without there being more problems to solve. The more things that you can share that the customer was facing, the more important. It's really important because the other person will relate to some of them, not all of them, and some of them will create a picture for them of what they want to gain or what they want to avoid. And last but not least, then get to the resolution. How did you work with that customer and resolve the problem or the opportunity? And when you were resolving that problem, what was the outcome? Wherever you can, share the proof. What was the tangible, or even if it's intangible, outcome of that resolution? What did it save them, or what did it gain them? So that's the structure of story. The last little piece that's really important is then right brain name it. And what I mean by that is put a really cheeky name to it, to that story, that everybody in your organization will remember. So for instance, one of my clients has a customer that had the name Stack in it, and they called their story It All Stacks Up. So that's an example. Another client had a story that they called the Lifesaver Story, because it was about them saving somebody's, an issue for somebody, and that just really, resonated with them all, and they remembered it. So right brain name them. So get a collection of these stories and be able to plan when you're going to see a prospect or a customer, which story do you think will create value for them, help educate them, help give them a new context, or help get them to see the value of making a change so they can get the brass ring or avoid a problem. For everybody, happy selling.